time for This Week in Location-Based Marketing. This is episode number 38. Today, if you can believe it, is August 14th. We're midway through almost August, man. The summer is gone.
Just about.
Well, at least we've got this, right? This has been an ongoing thing. We haven't missed a beat during the summer, maybe a couple of delayed days, but episode number 38. And as always, I'm here, Rob Woodbridge from Untethered.tv, found at Rob Woodbridge on Twitter. And with me from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, come on, who is it?
It's Asif Khan from the Location-Based Marketing Association.
We thought we'd mix it up a little bit, right? Bring in some new guests, some new hosts. But no, nobody's willing to do this. It's just the two of us. So you can find Asif always at thelbma.com or at the LBMA on the Twitter. And you can also find Asif at Asif Khan on the Twitter as well. Episode number 38, we are cruising here. Even though the summer's ending, we feel that now things are starting to pick up a little bit. Things are starting to get rolling as we get into September and October and November. And we've still got maybe 4.5 months of consolidation left, we think. Probably around that time, don't we, Asif?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's going to be a lot of deals coming. I think, the next week or two might be a bit slow on the funding and acquisition side. Tail end of the summer, people finish their holidays. But I think there's a lot to come. I think September and October are going to be crazy busy.
Who takes holidays?
I know they are for me already. Just alone being out on the circuit, speaking at conferences, it's crazy busy. But yeah.
Yeah, and it hasn't really slowed down. So you're just back from Minneapolis,
yep.
Twin Cities. And, you started in priority. You went to see a baseball game. See the Boston Red Sox.
Got to see your favorite team, the Red Sox, put a thing on the Twins. Yeah. But, great conference. It was a retail conference. Got to connect with some of the top minds in retail this week and talk about what they're doing in mobile and location-based marketing and integration with other media. So that was great. And I think some interesting things will come of it. Definitely a willingness to try and experiment.
Well, that's good. I like people who are willing to try and experiment. And, we've got some of those guys on the agenda today. We are going to be talking about Shopkick, Redbox, and their relationship with Foursquare, Getit, which is an Indian company, Mobitto. What's that called? Syncuz. It's supposed to be a play on Syncuz. So we got a couple of, we got one funding deal, we've got a new product and a resource, and we should just get this thing going because we all have things to do this evening, and you guys this morning, we're going to put it into the commute. First story here, let's talk about this. I was just marveling about this before we started recording. Shopkick had this monstrous announcement. I think they the idea in marketing is, one message, per, release. These guys just said, okay, listen, not only do we have 1 million users, we're a year old, we got 6.5 million check-ins, and we just signed 12 new massive partnership deals, like big brands, each one of them worthy of an announcement unto themselves, but they did it all in one announcement. This is huge.
It is huge, and I mean, it says that Shopkick's not only is the concept of indoor location and connecting with people while they're inside a retail environment working. It says that a lot of the big brands, the big retailers, a lot of the guys I was in the room with this week are willing to try it anyways. And so we know that Target and Best Buy and Macy's and many others now have this stuff, have the Shopkick technology installed in store. What's new about this announcement, other than the number of users and check-ins and so on that they've had, is that they've started to attract the big brands now. So not the actual people who own the real estate, but now we're talking about the packaged goods companies. So in this announcement, they're talking about Disney and General Mills and P&G and the list goes on and on.
CoverGirl, and Mr. Clean, and Levi's.
Kraft and Cadbury, and it's a huge list. And I think this is interesting. And what I don't believe is I don't believe, and there's no numbers on this. I don't believe that they're making a ton of money from this. I can't see these brands, based on the conversations I've been having with them, spending oodles and oodles of dollars on this. But it does say, and to Shopkick's credit, I think it does say that there's a willingness to try and experiment and see what could happen and how people are interacting from a consumer perspective with this technology.
You know, 1 million users. I think they crossed 1 million users.
Yeah.
Doing 6.5 million products have been scanned via Shopkick. Those are small numbers.
They're about 2 million, actually. I think the last number I saw. Yeah.
But still, those are small numbers. It's not a massive play when you think about it in global context of check-in software and all that kind of, you know, even I think that a company like Foursquare has a small number of users comparatively, you know, compared to the actual number of handsets that are out there and you know, even the number of iPhones that are sold in a quarter. It's a small number. But then if you think about how targeted this is based on what Shopkick has to do to go in and install this, it installs a box in your store, and then you start to think that those 1 million users are not scattered like you'd find at like a Foursquare or any other technology. These guys are very targeted. You know, they've downloaded the application. These stores, they have an affinity to those brands where these boxes are installed. These are probably, maybe I could say that is the most relevant 1 million or 2 million users that they could have, you know, using their product, I would say. So, you know, when you hit a good return rate like that, each person checking in or checking 2 or 3 products at a time, I think is not bad.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the concept is solid. You know, I'm happy to see these guys are connecting with these big brands, and I'm hopeful that it translates into some real dollars for them.
Oh, it's good. So, I mean, big brands, big dollars. I just think that this is a great opportunity for Shopkick to leverage the big brands and get more users, and hopefully that will. That'll happen.
My only, you know, if I want to put just a little bit of cold water on this, is that, you know, in sitting in that retail conference this week in Minneapolis and listening to kind of the tone of Macy's and Target and Best Buy, who were all in the room, you know, and are all testing Shopkick's technology, I didn't get a sense of overwhelming, you know, we love this stuff, you know, there's nothing better than it. You know, and I still think there's always that in the back of the mind of the retailer's head, and the brand to some extent behind them. You know, we want to own the relationship with the customer ourselves. We want our own app. We want our own experience. You know, and I think there's a little bit of that. You know, to play out, you know, still, and these guys all have their own apps, by the way. You know, in terms of, so I think there comes a time where, you know, if you're the big box retailer, you're testing this stuff. You want to see how it works, and if it goes really well, then I think, you know, perhaps I'm not saying they're going to do this. Perhaps you find a way to kind of incorporate the functionality of Shopkick into your own app.
Well, of course, yeah.
I'm just saying.
I think that's really key. And then, you know, that's one avenue. And the other side that we've always talked about is that carrier relationship. And when you add a location layer on top of your carrier relationship in a store, like we've seen in the UK and a number of other locations, maybe the added necessity of adding a piece of hardware becomes outdated pretty quickly. So,
right.
You know, there's a number of things. And I think that leads really well into the next story, which is about Redbox partnering with Foursquare, and this is a departure for Foursquare, I would say, but and Redbox is a, you know, I don't know if anybody doesn't know what Redbox is, but let's talk about this relationship with Redbox.
Yeah, why don't you explain what it is, just for the viewers?
It's really simple. Redbox is a kiosk, a movie rental kiosk that you know, that they're found. I think that in the States, anyways, there's one every, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 kilometer radius of where you are.
Right.
You're never far from a Redbox. The challenge is inventory, I think, when it comes to this. And they've been labeled a competitor to Netflix and you know, all the streaming services and the CD or DVD by mail services. But you still have to get up, physically walk over, go. You know, they're found in big shopping malls or in grocery stores. You still have to go and pick up a physical DVD, a physical hard good. And that's what Redbox is. And they're usually, I think the DVD rentals are a little bit cheaper than you would get at a Blockbuster or, you know, a standard place. But, so they partner with Foursquare.
Yes, so the partnerships, I think it's interesting. I actually really like this partnership. It's a limited time promotion. It only runs August 15th through the 21st. So basically, if you're a Foursquare user, you go and you check into one of and there's 33,000 Redbox kiosks out there. And so you check into the kiosk itself. during this time, and you get a discount code, which you can then apply, and the discounts range from 10 cents all the way up to $1. So obviously, I mean, there's some movies that are 99 cents, so you probably get 10 cents off, and some that are more, and you get $1 off. So, and so you can get you get these discounts off these movies. By the way, the Redboxes also carry games and other things, so it's not just movies. But what I like about this is it creates this interesting connection between a physical, piece of marketing, let's call it in the form of the kiosk, and the mobile device that didn't exist before. And I think if you think that forward a little bit, it actually creates some interesting potential. So just go with me here, Rob. We didn't talk about this before, but I'm brainstorming now. I'm trying to help Redbox.
I was just kidding. I just couldn't get past the old, two machines meet in a supermarket. My iPhone and the Redbox. And the Redbox kiosk, it's like love at first sight. There's romantic music playing, candlelight.
Yeah,
it's machine
Absolutely. Love. Yeah, I'm all over that.
All right, so what? Now let's talk about brainstorming.
Yeah, let's talk about brainstorming. So Redbox marketing, if you're listening, just play with me here for a minute. So think now. You have this relationship with Foursquare. People are checking in. Foursquare has a bunch of data on who these people are, their likes, dislikes, and such. And so they walk up to the Redbox now. They check into the Redbox. And before you offer them the discount, you add some kind of digital media on the side of the Redbox, like that plays promos of videos that you have in the Redbox, okay? But the video that the user sees is based on their preferences. So you know from Foursquare, based on that check-in, that they're a sci-fi fan. Well, show them the promo for the sci-fi movies that are in your Redbox, people, and then give them the discount. Come on.
I think it makes absolute sense, especially because the reviews that I read, I was doing some research this afternoon on Redbox. There's 33,000 of these boxes, you say. They've generated a considerable amount of money, like 370 or something like that, $1 million in revenue per year, which is what Redbox does, which is good. But the problem that I've heard is inventory. So you've got to bump up the ones that never get rented. That long tail. That's how you can do it.
That's how you do it.
Yep.
So, anyways,
love the idea.
So use that data that Foursquare's got on check-in and do something with that data to actually position the content that you're trying to sell.
Yeah, don't just give a discount. Like
but I love this partnership. I love it.
It is a departure for Foursquare, because usually it's about checking into a location, not to a machine. And that's why we're making the joke about machine love, because that's what it ends up being. You're checking into a Redbox.
It is a location. I call it a location.
It is. I suppose. And then that next layer is adding what you're watching as a check-in, right? So I checked into the Redbox, and I also checked into whatever sci-fi movie I rented.
Right.
Yeah. Now you're talking.
Yeah.
Or is that what you just said?
Get glue, miso.
Yeah, exactly.
Where are you?
Big acquisition. Right.
Anyway.
Well, I think it's good. Who's the winner here?
Who's the winner here?
Is Foursquare? Foursquare's not a bigger brand than Redbox, so is Redbox a better? Is this who wins here? Is this just a wash?
I don't think revenue-wise. I don't think this is a big win for anybody. No, I think this is just good for both brands in terms of just extending the reach a little bit.
Yeah, on Foursquare, I walked by a location that was building a bunch of condos, and it said, "Hey, check in." It was like one of those rental offices or sale offices, and it said, "Check in with Foursquare here." And I thought, okay, because I'm like that. I'm a lemming. I'll check in where you tell me. I'll check in anywhere. And so I launched Foursquare, obviously, and got the location, found them on the thing, and it was like. We have this massive festival here in Ottawa, which is Blues Fest every summer, and it happens at the beginning of July. It's like 15 days of all non-blues bands, but some of the biggest bands in the world. You might have heard about it because the stage actually was swept away when Cheap Trick was on stage. Did you hear about this? It actually collapsed. Not like the one that just happened I think it was in Minnesota or Minneapolis that happened on the weekend, but nobody got hurt. But all that to say, the Blues Fest, they were giving away, your chance to win tickets on Blues Fest, which was 4 weeks ago. And that's, I think, the problem with Foursquare and check-ins is that if you don't keep them updated, you have that experience where, if it can become stale very quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyways, that's my Foursquare experience.
Okay.
Totally irrelevant. I'm just trying to stretch this into the 4-hour podcast. Story number 3. This is a company called Getit out of India. And I like the idea of this, and it's good that we're launching. But why don't we tell the fine listeners and viewers what Getit is?
So Getit, as you said, it's out of India. It's an iPhone app focused on local search.
Kind of like Point, right? I would say.
Kind of like Point, yeah. Okay. And so, the whole point of this is not just about check-ins and things like that. It's all about finding the services you need locally. So think, kind of Yellow Pages connected up to iPhone app, and finding whatever service you need based on location. So, find the mechanic, the plumber, the real estate agent, I need a taxi, whatever it is, it basically, helps you find that information and bring it to wherever you are.
This is kind of the difference between, like I always think about this, is that find or search is a browser-based experience, right? That to me is always like I'm typing in random words. When you have something like Getit or Point or any of these guys, it's find. Right, it's the difference between search and find. It's localized versus broad, right? And I think
so for me, I think this is actually an area, a category of apps that we're going to see kind of explode over the next little while. That whole, as you just said, search versus find.
Yeah.
And when you think find, people don't necessarily want to, be keying in strokes all the time to find something. They want, we like to think and work visually. We like to work with, we're seeing a lot of gesture type technology out there right now. And so, if you can show me a map, you can show me simple icons and symbols, for, real estate and taxis and things like that. And I can quickly, move some things around and just, find what I'm looking for. And see, in proximity to where I am, that is on a map. I think that's going to really start to drive, much better usability from a consumer perspective in terms of, getting the kinds of services that they want a lot quicker. The other thing I like about this is they've not only built in kind of the mapping of that data, but with any of those services that you find, from a business listing perspective, you can do a very simple, quick click to call to any of these things, or SMS that information out to others. So they built all that into it as well.
It's exactly what it is. Andrew Osis, who is the CEO of Point, talks about the difference between search and find, and that's what it is. I mean, if you're going to leverage the mobile space to show information that's around you, at least leverage it to the extent that it's one of the only opportunities. It's the only time you really have a great opportunity to click to call or create an action out of this, and I love it.
Right.
The only challenge that this has is the domain name. It's just like
Getit.in. Yeah. It's just they're going to have to change that one.
Getit.in. I'm not making fun of the domain name. I'm just like, I was reading this. I'm really going to go to a site called Getit.in. Asif, what is this? Come on, Getit.in. It's just, I can't forget it, but I think this is probably Getit.in. Getit.in. Anyway.
Yeah, hopefully they're going to do something about that. But anyhow,
it's just so terrible. Get it?
If you're in India, check it out.
What was that? The Nova, that Mexican in Spanish. They launched that. I think it was Plymouth or whatever, Ford. One of the companies launched a car called Nova in Mexico, and it actually means no go. So So this is another one of those get it in. It's just they must have anyway. Terrible name. So we go from India and find to Spain and Mobitto. I love the name.
Mobitto, yes. So, one of the, before I talk about Mobitto, one of the great things about doing what we do and looking at what's going on in location-based marketing is that it's not limited to North America or Europe or, Asia even. As we're seeing already here, India and now Spain in today's podcast. So the development's going on. Great ideas are happening all over the place, and so Mobitto is kind of a combination of kind of a location-aware platform, mobile application. But what I really like about this is that we hear a lot about Foursquare and all these check-in tools, and we also hear a lot about people's concerns about privacy. And one of the things Mobitto is really focused on is the privacy issue. So they talk about that. This is, by the way, before I go on, this is a product that's still in beta, so it hasn't launched yet. But it was announced at a kind of a startup festival in Spain, and looking for capital and all that kind of stuff. So think check-in platform, context, location-aware check-in type platform, giving the user a lot of controls over privacy, but also kind of combining the old concept of what Whirl was all about, which is communities, and tying all that together. So that's Mobitto.
And it has nothing to do with like a mojito, which is a fine beverage.
No, but there might be a mojito community on Mobitto. I don't know.
Well, that'll get me going. Yeah.
So they talk about the concept of, when they talk about communities, they talk about niche markets. So they say, okay, here's a community of vegetarian restaurants. It was the example that they gave out, and so you can connect with other people who are vegetarians and see where they are in location to you. So you have that kind of Whirl feel. Back in the day, when we still had Whirl, before that got taken out. But now with the privacy piece built into it, and the full location awareness that we have in all the latest apps out there. So I think this could be one of those scenarios where not launching a year ago and launching now,
perfect time,
and kind of having learned what's out there and kind of mistakes made and things that have gone well, and kind of putting all that together in a market that we haven't heard a lot from, Spain, could be really, really interesting.
That's a really key point. I think I was who was I talking to recently about this? It's because it's a very key point. The guys from who was I talking to about that? Anyways, it was a company that I interviewed recently for Untethered, and these guys, basically the thought is, listen, you know what? You don't have to launch in the U.S. It doesn't have to be big in the U.S. You can start attacking your own local market, a smaller market like Spain. I wouldn't put India in there, but a smaller market like Spain, and be very popular in Spain and make a great living in Spain. And I think that's one of the things that you can look at when you're building out your opportunity in this location world, is that you don't always have to think that you have to conquer the U.S. And something that didn't work in the U.S., just because it needed to be so broad and so big and spend so much money on marketing to create awareness, has a real potential of working inside of your own country, if it's a smaller country, or your own neighborhood, if it's your neighborhood. I think that's people always forget that they have to be big elsewhere, big globally, but you don't. You just have to be big locally. And there's enough value in that for some people to get involved with this. And so maybe this works. Maybe Mobitto has a good chance to make, to do what nobody else could do in a larger scale, but do it within their neighborhood.
I think too, the other thing too is you never know. I mean, we talk a lot about carriers stepping up in this, and certainly in that part of the world, you got guys like Telefonica and some really big carrier brands out there that could snap this thing up or OEM it and start to license this and make it available to their customers. So this could be quite interesting. I mean, similar to what Point did with RIM here in Canada. So could be interesting.
Well, I think it's good. So Mobitto in Spain. So our last big story of the week comes from a company called Syncuz. So I guess it's like a mixture of Sync and Us, but Syncuz.
Syncuz, yeah.
Syncuz.
Yeah, so this is kind of interesting. They call it...
Don't play it up. It's kind of interesting, right?
It's kind of interesting. It's
like,
iPhone and Android. So we'll start by saying that they call it a real-time location-based event planning app. So really, the utility here that they're going after is you're at a conference. You're a CIF, so you're always at a conference.
You are never at home.
you're never at home, and you're in a situation where there's a whole bunch of people at this conference, and you got to connect for various reasons with these people, whether it be social events or dinners or what have you that's going on at the conference. And so what happens is it enables you to create a map-based or location-based community of everybody that's associated with the conference with all their phone numbers and everything all connected. And so you can see in real time where all the people are at the conference. And then you can gather people kind of in groups and say, okay, I need to talk to Rob right now. And so you don't have to go find everybody's phone number, or you don't have to go up to somebody, at the conference and say, hey, what's your number? And I'll text you later on so we can meet up for dinner or whatever. You've got everybody there. And so you create these little communities on the fly around an event. And you have kind of that ability to connect with them, as you go.
I like it, and what it does is it, we've seen some similar things like this. For example, we've seen a lot of applications that are socially minded, so that are basically disposable groups that you bring a whole bunch of people together, you decide where you're going to go, you meet, you arrive, and it's all coordinated by group text or group SMS.
Right.
Like, that's high society. But what I like about this is it kind of takes the guesswork out of this. Is that once you and I are hooked up, we've decided that we're going to go have dinner, and we're all en route. It shows you on the map whether I'm delayed or where I am on the map. It does all that kind of stuff. And if we arrive somewhere and the lineup is too long or it's shut down, which often happens, you just change the location and it automatically disperses that information out, gives everybody the new coordinates by SMS. And you arrive on time at the different location without having to talk to anybody in real life.
Yeah, and so it's the utility is great. I mean, we talked a little while ago about the Unsocial app as well.
Yeah.
So again, I think similar to what I said about that, I think an interesting play here is for these guys to also connect with the LinkedIn API and start to pull some of that data into it in terms of understanding who these people are and making recommendations and things like that. But as a base utility of being able to just connect with people and create groups on the fly and know where people are in real time relative to meetings and events and things you've got planned, love it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And I'm going to try to get these guys on Tether. So if you guys are listening to us right now, from Syncuz, reach out, but I probably already reached out to you anyways. I'd like to hear some more about how the concept was built, but you can go find out a little bit more information about them. SYNCUZ or Z, depending on what nation you're in right now. .com, and it's pronounced Syncuz, like sync us. Innovative use. I like it. All right, let's talk a little bit very quickly about some funding news. That's it for the top four. We'll just go through this really quickly. Shop. The way I phrased it here is, I wrote it down right here, in plain old paper. Shopkick kicks some brand ass. Right? I think that's what they did.
That's what they did.
You were talking about Redbox and Foursquare. Getit.in. Well, you be the judge of that. An Indian find, a local find company for iPhone. And then we've got, what else did we talk about today?
Mobitto.
Yeah, Mobitto, launching in Spain. It's in beta. And then Syncuz, the location-based event planning software. Go and take a look at those. Those are the 5 stories that we thought were relevant to you this week. And you know what, by the way, in those 5 stories, there are some great lessons to be learned, as well as some great ideas that maybe you want to look at and integrating into your company as well. Some neat little features there. You're probably doing that right now. Funding news. Well, it's a slow week, but this was a big enough deal that who cares? Right?
It was a very slow week on funding. But yeah, I mean, so this deal is a company called Inrix, INRIX. Raised $37 million, so a very good amount of money from some of the biggest on the block. We talk about Kleiner Perkins, Caulfield, and Byers. Those guys a lot, and they're because they're doing a lot of deals, and so they're heavily behind this one. This isn't the first round for these guys. They're up to about $70 million in total now, and really cool company. So these are one of the guys. If you're out there and you've got that GPS and you got a fairly new car with a fairly new GPS, one of the things you can get on it is real-time traffic updates. And Inrix is one of the companies that supplies that data.
I mean, they're in everything. They're in Fort Sync. They're in you name it. Even the app that I have on my iPhone, it leverages their data as well. They're everywhere.
So I mean, I think this is a company that's going to be around for a while. Knowing traffic, being able to reroute people is an absolute necessity for a lot of people these days. And you can see why they're getting more money because they're well integrated. They've got I don't know how many. Their valuation's $500 million at the moment. So.
Well, when you got partners like Ford and Telenav, and you got all the big ones that we've talked about over and over and over again. Navigon is the app that I use on my iPhone.
Right. Got that one as well.
There's really they're working with Mazda, BMW, Garmin, Volvo, Land Rover, Jaguar, Mini, Aston Martin, Apple, Android, Mercedes.
It's crazy.
Well, MapQuest, Clear Channel, the Weather Channel, MSN. So it's like, who don't they work with? Don't buy one of their cars. It's so funny. I did a I don't even know what it's called. I did the keynote or the address at a graduating class for my graduating college. And people forget very clearly that there was a mad rush on GPS. GPS was the coolest thing for about 90 days. And people used to spend thousands, $5,000 or $6,000 to get a GPS built into the dash of a car. And it was crazy. And the fact is that these things communicate with satellites. And now you take them for granted because you carry them wherever you are. Mm-hmm. And to think back to the day where you could, there would be a time where you could actually circumvent traffic, with real-time reports.
I know, it's unbelievable.
It's incredible. This technology is unbelievable, and we look at it and say, "Ho hum!" And no way, these guys should be a valuable company because what they're doing is akin to magic. We would have called this magic back in the day. We would have been, when we were a kid, we had to actually wait in traffic. We had to wait in lines. Anyway, it's pretty amazing. Inrix, good company.
Inrix, yeah. And then the only other one that I wanted to mention is because we talked about these guys a while ago when the deal was kind of announced, and that's the deal between eBay, the deal of eBay buying Zong, which is going to be plugged right into PayPal, and so the update is the deal actually closed this past week. And it's pretty significant. I mean, we're talking about I think it's $240 million that they paid for this company. So I could talk all day about eBay, but because they keep buying what seems to be the right companies, and when you put them all together, whether it's Ware or Zong or what have you, it's I think there's a lot of good stuff going on here.
Yeah, it's eBay version 3.0, I think, is what we're about to see.
Right.
And this is the evolution, especially when mobile commerce and mobile payments, and that happens, and local garage sales and all this kind of stuff that we're seeing out there. It kind of converges, and I think you're right. eBay is a I guess if you're not following the industry very closely, eBay, you might be surprised that we say that eBay is a powerhouse or going to be a powerhouse in this space. But PayPal, I mean, you've got the right ingredients. And then I think about Amazon on the other side as well. Amazon is the unsung hero when it comes to mobile in general, and what's about to happen in this revolution. So you got those two companies that are kind of under the radar, so to speak, and are about to erupt, I think, as these, in 2012, 2013. All right, so eBay finally closes that deal. We've got $37 million going into Inrix, and that's it. Probably more deals, and if you know of them, we'd love to hear about them. Let us know. Reach out at untethered@gmail.com or asif@thelbma.com and let us know, because we can't keep on top of all these things.
Happy to cover them.
We would cover them very well. And it doesn't have to be big deals. We're looking for those small companies that are closing small rounds that we can highlight here, because we think that that's where that's on the fringe of innovation, and that's really where we want to be. We want to cover those companies. So let's talk about Our tool of the week. This is a concept tool, right?
Yeah, this is interesting. It's not an actual product, so let me start by saying that this is a guy named Glenn Hansen, who is a copywriter and art director out there. He actually came up with this concept for Heineken, calling it the Heineken BFF, which stands for Beer for Friends. And they're basically going. What he's saying is you're out with a bunch of guys or whatever. You do something nice for a friend, and the friend ends up saying to you, "Hey, I owe you a beer." And so what he said was, how do we actually close that deal? How do we close that transaction? How do I actually get that beer?
How many times have you been screwed over, right? How many times have you been screwed over?
He's thrown this concept out and he's mocked it up. There's a great little video, and Rob will post it, I assume, as part of this. But great little video he's put together. And so he's built this little scenario where the friend that you owe a beer to now, if you're the ower, basically shows up at a restaurant, a bar, a place, and checks in on Foursquare. So that they're there. You get that notification, and once you get that notification, you can then basically connect to that bar and buy your friend a beer, through the bartender, and then the bartender delivers the beer, and then your friend gets the beer and is, hey, the guy said he owed me a beer, and I actually got the beer. And then he can basically then respond to that and tweet that out. And so in the video he uses Facebook to promote that out, to say Joe just bought me a beer. So it's a really interesting concept that ties Foursquare check-ins to know that the guy's actually there, with you following up on actually buying the beer that you said you're going to buy. I love it, and all branded under Heineken.
And I just keep coming back to that. How many times has that guy been stiffed? Like, he's helped somebody, his best buddy, move, and he's like, hey, you know what? I'll get you a beer, and then it's never happened, right?
Right.
And this is one of those. Opportunities. And as we were talking, I thought, you know what? I was introduced. I interviewed Six Wunderkind, which is a company based out of Germany, and Jessica actually forwarded me a company there called Buddy Beers, and it's at Buddy Beers, exactly how it sounds, buddybeers.com. They got a relationship with Carlsberg. And these guys are doing something similar, maybe not location-based per se, but it's over a mobile device where I can actually send you a beer. I can send a beer to participating bars and restaurants. Not quite the same, but it doesn't take a genius to think that their next evolution would be around the check-in. But this is I can send you a beer via SMS or email or a coupon that you actually show the bartender, and it's a free beer. Mm-hmm. So I like this, but I don't think we're far away from this.
Not at all. I think while it's a concept, I think this is pretty much reality.
It is.
It's just it's just Heineken or somebody stepping up and saying let's build the thing and get it done.
And so for all those guys out there who've screwed your buddies and not paid up from that beer, you're about to get what's coming to you, which is there's no more excuses now, and you can buy us a beer.
They're gonna have to change it now. It's gonna go from I owe you a beer to I owe you a Jägermeister or something.
Exactly. I don't know. That's right. I owe you that. And this brings a whole new concept around underage drinking, right? There's always that. I think that's the liability here, is that you don't want the 16-year-old to walk up and be able to claim that pint, or the dial-a-bottle equivalent. There's things to work out here, but I like it. And of course, our email addresses. So anytime you want to send us a pint,
we're there.
Oh, we're open. So that's Heineken BFF. I'll throw the link up. It's probably up there right now. Just go and click on it. It's a great concept. And if you've ever been screwed out of a beer, you will love this idea. And also go to buddybeers.com if you're interested in taking a look at something that's already started down that path. Good resource, Asif. When you talk about Canadians and beer, I mean, it's just like, put the weather in here. If we had like a weather app and a beer app, it would be what?
Yeah, it's not going to get much better than that. So.
Well, it does, because our resource here of the week, let's talk about this. Like, this is pretty exciting for you guys. And we're gonna do a little bit of promotion for the LBMA right here, because they deserve it. Let's talk about this. The field research program that you guys have just launched.
Thanks, Rob. So this is something, this is a first for us. And so we announced earlier this week something we're calling a field research program. And so effectively what this is one of our members, one of the so again, if you're not familiar with the LBMA and you're listening to this, we're the Location-Based Marketing Association. We're
never heard of you guys. Never heard of you guys.
Member-funded, not-for-profit, traditional association. And so one of our vendor members, a company called Zwish, which is in the indoor location space, the same space that Shopkick's in, although providing that same functionality via different technology, basically approached us a while back and said, so I'm giving you a little backstory here, and said, look, how do we, we'd like to work with you as members of the association. We'd like to find a way to kind of engage with retailers, get some pilots going with our stuff. Obviously that's great for them because, like any new business, that they want to get to some of these big brands. You, the LBMA, work with a lot of these retailers on the other side of your membership, and as was evidenced by my conference this weekend with Target and Best Buy and Macy's and everybody else in the Twin Cities. And so what we came up with is this concept called the Field Research Program. And so what it is for a 6-week period in the fall. And we're soliciting right now. So if you're a retailer or you're an agency representing a retailer, we're interested in getting your participation in this program. And so here's what the program is. Right. For a 6-week period, Zwish is going to put indoor location technology in your locations, in your stores. We're looking for a number of stores per retailer. And then what's going to happen is this costs you absolutely nothing as a retailer. And so we're going to be testing. And this is in real life with real customers coming in and out of your stores, pushing content to them, pushing deals to them, seeing how they react. But at the end of the day, the big thing, why we call this a field research program, is the LBMA is leading this, and we're actually collecting all this data up over the 6-week period. And the data, some of it will be kept and provided privately to the retailers and Zwish, that are kind of leading this program from technology and participation side. But the core of it, we're actually going to abstract all that data, and we're going to write a very comprehensive research report that will be made available to all the members of the LBMA and the broader community at hand. So it's this great opportunity to learn firsthand, pull together partners in the ecosystem and make it happen. And it's not exclusive to Zwish. This particular program is, but we see this program repeating, in 6 week or 8 week increments with other technologies, and these retailers or other retailers as well. And certainly we've had a lot of calls on that front this week as well when this announcement came out. So.
Well, I was just going through it, and I love it. There's 3 phases to this, and I certainly think that when you collate all this information and you put it into a report and you distribute this is serious value add for the members, the LBMA members. And I don't understand this kind of insight. It's almost in real time. It's as close to real time as you can get for that kind of a small engagement. It's well worth the price of a membership, if you ask me.
Yeah. And so, like I said, we expect to do a lot more of these kinds of things. It may not always be indoor location. We may test, new check-in concepts, outdoor. We may play around with cell tower technologies. We may play with digital signage and other things, that are part of our, ecosystem, the LBMA. But we see this as an interesting way to kind of bring together the consumers that, are testing and using this stuff and seeing how they interact with it, the vendors that are trying to get the technology and bring it forward into the marketplace, and obviously the retailers and business owners, merchants that basically are looking to evaluate these solutions and trying to figure out which is the right one for them. So when you pull all that together, I think you have some pretty interesting participants and data that will come out of this that will help everybody in terms of the research and decision making.
I love it. How can people find out more about this then, Steve?
Just go to www.thelbma.com/research and you'll see it there.
Well, so go and check that out. I think that this is so valuable. I think that this is what the LBMA is meant to do, and I'm glad you guys are doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about that.
No. Happy to be doing it.
I have 2 things to plug here very quickly. 2 conferences that I think are really important that people should look at attending. They're both in the mobile space, and we touch a lot on mobile, although we're not contained to mobile. I spend most of my time in this area. But For those of you guys who are in the industry, you know about Om Malik and his incredible outfit at gigom.com. They run a conference on the mobile space, which covers everything from development all the way up to marketing and the stuff that we talk about every week here. It's called Mobilize, and this is actually going to be in San Francisco, September 26 and 27. I'll be there. Untether.tv is a media partner and a media sponsor for this thing. We do it every year because we think that this is one of the premium events, and you'll be amazed by the type of people that they have and the content they have there. It's at Mobilize mobilize.conf.com, and try to get there, because I think that this is one of those things that you'll be kicking yourself, like South by Southwest. If you didn't go, you'll be kicking yourself that you don't go to this. And it's GigOM, and they put on kick-ass events. Second one is a month later, called the App Developers Conference. Again, huge location and location marketing, location-aware entire sector of the conference here. It's in Santa Clara on the 26th and 27th of October. I'll actually be speaking at that one. But these are two events that I think that as we get into event season, it's going to get busy. Reserve those 2 dates. So App Developer Conference on the 26th and 27th of October in Santa Clara, and Mobilize Conference on 26th and 27th of September, done by GigOM. That's it. I'll put the links up, but I think that they're important that you guys go to those things. And we'll keep on top of these events, because the events that they should be at, not just the ones that Asif attends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's it. Episode 38, nailed. Unbelievable. We have done this week in and week out, and we appreciate the feedback that we get from you guys, and we'd love some more. What are we missing? What are we doing right? I know we're not doing anything wrong, so don't even send us any of that. Right. If there's anything you'd like to see on the show, any news that you'd like us to push, we will embargo it until the appropriate time. Let us know. Reach out at untether@gmail.com or asif@thelbma.com, and we answer every email, and we'll respond, and we will push anything that you'd like us to talk about within reason. We just covered a story actually called Getit.in. Get it in. We'll cover anything, right? Ain't too proud.
Pretty much. There might be the odd censorship, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes. Not many times. That's it. Asif, anything else?
No, I'm good.
Well, listen. Thank you guys for watching wherever you are, listening wherever you might be. Hopefully it is not stuck in traffic. If you are, jump out and find a better GPS that actually has some great technology built into it that tells you when the traffic is. And we will see you guys next week for episode number 39 of This Week in Location-Based Marketing. Thank you for watching, Asif. Take it easy, man. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.